a lot easier, and that's one of the things that I feel like it's because it's so much easier to blame others than to blame yourself.
Like, no one really cares about you. Like, it's whatever you want in life, it's your duty, your responsibility to go after it, and whether you do it or not, just be accountable for it.
I am never gonna say, because of my son this happened, because I could see how it can build resentment.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Driven. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the topic of self-accountability. And the reason why we're discussing that is because I know last week's topic was prioritization.
Yes.
And I know with that, one of the topics that came up was stop blaming others. And, that kind of ties into self-accountability. So with that, what, in the most simplest terms, or for you, what does self-accountability mean? And, why was it important to you? Or like, why was it brought up?
So self-accountability, in the simplest terms, is for my definition is that every result or every outcome or everything that happens to you is your own fault. So you do something happens, kind of to a similar definition that you had, which every cause has a result, or
cause and effect.
Something you do something happens.
Yep.
For me, I don't go to the gym, I don't work out, I don't lose weight, I don't build muscle.
Yep.
So and seeing that everything that happens, and I mean everything that happens in life or in your life, it's your own fault. It's your own fault. And so to me, that's what being a self-accountability or accountability is.
I have a follow-up question, or I have a question with that. Is I know a lot of people have a mentality where they want to blame circumstances, or they want to blame people for what they achieve and what they don't achieve. Yeah. So can you just elaborate on that? Like, and I know we've experienced it in the warehouse, we've experienced it with friends, we've seen it online.
I feel like people blame is because it's a lot easier to blame others than to accept responsibility for yourself. It makes you feel like and not good, but it lessens the burden that you have on yourself. So for example, I know a lot of people, they blame their bosses why they couldn't make, or why they're not making more money, or they blame any system that's in place, system, whatever system that's in place, or they blame the fact that they didn't have money. Yep. To start off with, they didn't have any good connections. Yep. Which we didn't have any of those. Nope. And to some point, to an extent, we kind of still don't have any real like strong connections to like the business or financial world. Like right now, it's still just us two, and then maybe some people that we know that have more experience in life, but that's about it. There's no like, and that's one thing maybe we should change. Yeah, and so it's a lot easier to say because of all these things is the reason why I'm not there. So it's a lot easier. It makes you feel like, not that it lessens the burden on yourself, as opposed to, for example, like saying that it's because I didn't work hard enough, or I didn't go out and get these connections or make connections. And so it's a lot of and so I feel like it's just a lot easier to, and it's almost like a living in a, like, what do you call it,
bubble,
in a bubble, like you know what, the reason why I'm not where I want to be is because of other things. And so you're just comfortable there, just you're just chilling there. Yep. And it's just so much easier than, for example, having to acknowledge and admit the fact that you're not where you want to be because of your own actions or decisions. Like you decided to go to a party, you decided to go not work, you decided to watch Netflix instead of reading. So if you ignore those things and you blame others, it's a lot easier. And that's one of the things that I feel like it's because it's so much easier to blame others than to blame yourself, because it also blaming yourself and knowing that the bad outcomes that happen in your life is because of you. Like it's like, I feel like it's heavy on people, and I feel like it is a lot easier to blame others. And so I feel that that's one of the main reasons why people don't take accountability for their own actions.
And for ourselves, we could have easily done that. Yeah. We were born in Mexico. We came here. We didn't have any papers until DACA came out. Yeah. Like you mentioned, we didn't have any connections. We didn't have any rich uncle. We didn't have anyone, we were working with. to help us or to guide us in business. We had to learn everything on our own. So we could have easily said, okay, I don't have an education. I don't have a rich uncle. Like, I'm just gonna give up.
Yeah. And then also as you were talking, it kind of reminded me of like not taking accountability for yourself can build resentment. That's one of the things that I've also like thought about in my own personal life and my personal life, because for example, one of the things that I was thinking a lot is like, it's not that I don't have the time to go to the gym. Yep. I technically do. I choose to spend time with my son, but so then one of the things that I wouldn't want to do is say, I can't go to the gym because I had to take care of my son, because if I don't lose weight or I become unhealthy, I don't want spending time with my son be the reason why that happened to me. And so then I could see for some people, and maybe in the future for others, they could see like, because of my son, I had diabetes, or not like that directly, but it was because I had to take care of my son why I became overweight, why I all these unhealthy things happened to me. And I also see that with in people in general, like they start building resentment towards the bosses, the rich people, the all these things, certain races, why they have resentment towards other races, because they choose to blame them instead of themselves for the circumstances that they're in. And that's one of the things that I've been thinking, particularly with my son. Like, I am never gonna say, because of my son, this happened. Because I could see how it can build resentment. And so, and yeah, just as you were talking, that kind of, why a lot of people don't like rich people or have resentment towards rich people, even though they really didn't do anything to them. In fact, they provided services and services, products that people really enjoy. Like Apple. People all use Apple. They become richer because they provide services and products that are good for society. And same with other things. Elon Musk, really rich guy. He helped build Tesla and SpaceX. Even though Tesla, a lot of people drive Teslas, and that's why I see that a lot of people have resentment towards certain races, towards certain social economic status, like the rich people. They have resentment towards bosses, towards managers, towards all these things, because they did not take accountability for themselves. They didn't say I didn't get here because of me. Instead they use I didn't get here because of this and this, and then the resentment built from there. And so and then kind of tying it back to my personal thing, like I would never want my son to be a reason why I did not accomplish something. And so if I take accountability of that, and it's my decision why I choose to take care of my son or spend time with my son, is why I didn't reach it. At the end of the day, it wasn't because of my son, it was because of me. 100% of me. I wanted to spend time, and so I didn't lose weight because of that. It's on me. It's not on my son. It's not on everyone. It's 100% on me.
Going back off what you said about taking responsibility for your own actions, so you don't bring resentment to like your kids or your family or your neighbor or this and that. I saw that a lot with my classmates. Some of them had kids early on, and like having kids at 19, 20, like you didn't have a career, you didn't have a degree, you were still figuring out life. And because of that, you maybe had to stay home, you had to take care of your kids. And now you're like, you think to yourself like, man, like I can't go to school. I have to work at a minimum wage job because of my kids. And so I know like how you mentioned that brings resentment, but if you really look at it, you created actions that led to you getting pregnant or that led to you having kids early on. If you were a guy, like those actions, same thing, that led you to having kids. And that's what I mean, cause and effect. But with that, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing that I think, that doesn't necessarily mean that, it ends there. You still have, from there going forward, you still have plenty of time to do something about it. Stop playing, in my opinion, stop playing the victim. Okay, maybe sacrifice a few hours of sleep, find a babysitter, find a family member. I'm pretty sure a family member is willing to help you. Yes, you're going to have a kid, but you could still go out there, get a career. You could still, take online classes, find a way to get out of it.
No, definitely agree. Because like, even though like you have a kid,
Yep.
Even though like, and that's one of the things that people say, I never like, it's something cliche that you say, like it's, you know, it's the greatest blessing in the world, but once you have a kid, like you actually like understand it, because that's the most, like having a kid, that everyone should have a kid, but that's just me. It's the most intense kind of like feelings you have towards someone, an entity, because it really does stop becoming about you.
Yep.
The world isn't you anymore. Like your world is your kids. And so you know, I digress though, but
and just going back all that, sorry to cut you off, but and just to give another example, it's like you could have the mentality even if you have kids early on, and one set of people are gonna have the mentality of like, oh, my life is over, like I just need to take care of my kids, I can't go back to school. While, you know, another group of people, they have kids early on, but you know, they continue school, they start a business, they do something, and then, you know, they stop blaming having their kid to why they're not successful, and they do something about it. So it goes back to taking responsibility of your own actions.
Yeah. And then with that, one of the things is like, you're not saying that one is better than the other. You're not saying that having a career is better than, you know, staying home and taking care of your kids. I don't think you're saying that.
No.
But also understanding that, you know, your choices are, you know, understanding that your choices are going to have an effect.
Yep.
You know, you choosing to take care of your kids, staying home, you know, it might not build you, you know, a career, but it is definitely gonna, I feel like they are gonna be times that you're not gonna regret. Spending time with the kids, I think, is something that you're not gonna regret.
Yep.
And then, you know, vice versa, the career, if you choose career, then, you know, you more likely than not, you're gonna have a career. But then understanding that, you know, you might spend less time with your kids. So then, you know, like, and I see this a lot in the Asian community, where like they emphasize work and career a lot. And so a lot of the times the relationship between kids and parents, not all the time. And actually it's very rare cases, but it's not the best because they chose career, work, you know, that over there. And so understanding that you choose career, you know, there's going to be a certain outcome, and you choose life and family, or not life and family, you choose family, is going to be a certain outcome. So understanding that, like how you mentioned, there's going to be a cause and effect.
Yep.
And then also like just, you know, just something that you reminded me right now, like, you know, the current circumstances that you have are what they are.
Yep.
You have kids, you know, it you know, it is what it is. But then from that, it's gonna be kind of like a now what. So, you know, so the decisions that you make now, understanding, having accountability for them and knowing that, you know, they're gonna have certain outcomes.
So final thoughts for me is you do have to take responsibility for your own actions, for your own circumstances. And the thing is, one thing I, realized a long time ago when I was probably like 19 or 20 is that no one cares about you. No one cares if you're in debt. No one cares if you didn't have the best upbringing. No one cares if you were born with rich parents. Mm-hmm. Like, no one really cares about you. Like, it's whatever you want in life, it's your duty, your responsibility to go after it. Mm-hmm. And whether you do it or not, just be accountable for it. Because I know not everyone wants to be, successful. Right. Not everyone wants to do like big stuff. Maybe they just want a simple life. And, that's fine. But at the end of the day, still take responsibilities for your own actions.
Yeah, I agree. And when I think you say no one, I'm assuming there's some, but just in general, like the strangers, the outside population, the public does not care. Because that sounded harsh, like, oh no one cares about me. That might make people feel worse.
Well, and I say that because I remember like I forgot who said this, but okay, if you look at the news and you see like an accident, like like a car crash, 5 people died, you're gonna think to yourself like, damn, that sucks, but then you're gonna move on with your day.
Yes.
But like if it's someone close to you, you're gonna feel it for days, for months, for years. And it goes back to like the outside world. Someone who doesn't know you, they're not really gonna care about you. And it's the same thing. Like if you're shy to do something, or you're embarrassed, or you're something, or like I remember when I wanted to start soccer again, I'm like, damn, people are everywhere. I'm overweight at the time. Mm-hmm. I was a little bit heavy. Like I haven't touched the ball in years, so like I'm gonna suck. I'm like, damn. Like I was thinking of what people cared. And the same thing. Like people are not gonna care if you do something embarrassing, if you do something, okay, even if they, you know, laugh here and there, they're gonna forget about it because they have everything going on with their life. So, and it goes back to like taking responsibility. Like, no one's gonna, in the outside world, no one's gonna care about what situation you're in. If you have rich parents, if you were, you know, you were born poor, if you're a certain type of, you know, group of people, like demographic, race, religion, no one's gonna care. It's just, if you want to achieve your goal, go achieve it. But but just go achieve it. But then also know that, you know, if you do or don't, it's up to you. It really is.
So with that, is there any final thoughts on your end?
No. Well, I mean, I'm going to be repeating myself, but my final thoughts is just take responsibility for your own actions. Stop blaming others. And I think the moment you stop blaming others, you're going to self-reflect. You're going to grow. And I think it's just going to be easier. Because I know if you start blaming others, like, man, I'm not where I want to be because I don't have the connections, or I wasn't born into a rich family, or, you know, maybe I'm not an athlete because my parents didn't put me in sports early on. Stop blaming others, and just once you stop blaming others, it's going to be easier, and it's going to be like, man, I'm really in control of my life.
Yes. For me, it's the same thing. Just knowing that everything that happens to you in your life is because of you and not because of others. And then when you take on that mentality, better things will happen, because you'll start making better decisions, knowing that everything that happens to you is because of you. You'll start making better decisions. And so that's kind of, to summarize it all up, that's pretty much it. Those are our final thoughts. This has been another episode of Driven. My name is Juan.
My name is Alexis.
And we'll see you on the next one.